Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I read some articles regarding the newly freed Azov Battalion's commanders with the help of the great president of Turkey, Erdogan. And there's a lot of anger in Russia regarding this swap or liberation of these Ukrainian commanders, and they will remain in Turkey according to this article. They will not return to Ukraine, allegedly, until the end of the war. How long that might be. So let's read this article and then discuss a little bit the implications and the anger. So this article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from September 22nd, 2022. Recently liberated leaders of Azov Regiment / Battalion will remain in Turkey until war ends. President of Ukraine, Zelensky, said that Ukraine's agreements with Russia stipulate that the 5 leaders of the Azov Regiment who were released as part of the prisoner exchange on September 21st will remain in Turkey until the end of the war. Wow, so how come Zelensky will honor a deal with the Russians? All right, quote, Zelensky, Ukraine has brought back 2015 heroes. It's not the Russians let them, they brought them back. It's like this, remember when the Azov Battalion fighters in Azovstal surrendered to the Russians? They never used the word surrender. They came out, they saved lives by coming out. You know, they met the Russians somehow. They were walking in a park and they just met them and the Russian took them. It's all kind of euphemisms here. The same here. Ukraine has brought back 2015. How? Through negotiations. That means the other guys agreed. Hey, you offered something too, right? 2015 heroes from Russian captivity. We greatly appreciate the contribution of everyone who participated in the rescue of the defenders and will never forget it. Sincere gratitude to Recep Tayyip Erdogan, President of Turkey, for the leading role in this process. We agreed that the 5 released Azov commanders would stay in comfortable conditions in Turkey until the end of the war and would be able to see their families. Great news. Great news for some, right? Additionally, as a sign of gratitude for their help to our country, Ukraine has liberated 5 citizens of Great Britain, 2 citizens of the United States, and citizens of Morocco, Sweden and Croatia from Russian captivity. I am grateful to Saudi Arabia for the mediation. Well, I think, okay, they brought them back, it says here. Ukraine has liberated those citizens. They went in and kicked the door in and grabbed them by the collar and got them out. Details. Zelensky said that Ukraine remembers, quote unquote, all those who remain in Russian captivity and will do everything possible to liberate them. On September 21st, as part of a prisoner exchange with Russia, Ukraine succeeded in freeing 2015 Ukrainian defenders. Border guards, policemen, Marines, National Guardsmen, members of the Territorial Defense, custom officers, and civilians are also among those released. And it says, in particular, Denis Prokopenko, aka Redis, Serhiy Volinsky, aka Volnya, Sviatoslav Palamar, Denis Shleha, Oleg Komenko. Unit leaders of the defense of the Azovstal steel plant in Mariupol are already in safety. Additionally, Mikola Kush, aka Frost Kush, and Konstantin Nikitenko, aka Fox, whom the occupiers wanted to execute, were among the liberated Azov Regiment fighters. 5 Ukrainian commanders from the Azov Regiment are now in Turkey under personal guarantees of protection and safety by President Erdogan of Turkey. Viktor Medvedchuk and 55 Russian occupiers have been returned to Russia. Now, this is where the problem arises or comes up. Didn't Russia officially claim that the Azov Battalion is a Nazi battalion or regiment? Da, yes, we, hi, and so on. So, yes, were these guys leaders, commanders of the named battalion / regiment? Da, yes. Then, how can you, as a state that started a special operation where thousands of people died, displaced, blah, 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 to get rid, eradicate the Nazis in Ukraine, you capture these people who qualify your definition of, Nazi supporters by being from the Azov regiment. All of them, all these leaders were released. Not this guy and that guy and that guy. So isn't that a proof or logical, deduction or whatever, that these guys are not Nazis? Therefore, the leadership of the battalion is not Nazi as claimed before? I think it kind of does. It's more than 51%, I would say. It's more than the preponderance of evidence. Well, it's not beyond any reasonable doubt, but even though, I think it gets there. You wouldn't release them if you thought they were Nazis. That means you worked in contradiction to your statements. That's why is anger over there in Russia. Some circles, some people. Right? That's one thing. Now, let's say, okay, you said these are Nazis. You agreed not to, take care of them. Then you give them back to this guy and say they're going to stay in Turkey after the end of the war. And then what? Are they going to return back into Ukraine? Then if these guys are Nazis and you just said, you know what, we get rid of Nazis in Ukraine and we eradicate them, not necessarily by killing them, but by getting them outside, out of Ukraine. Okay, these guys are in Turkey, let's say they're Nazis, right? Azov Battalion. And then after the war, they will return to Ukraine. Then how did you denazify Ukraine? I would like to know. Unless they would be always and forever in exile. This is the main problem with this. The other one is with the 10 guys, foreign mercenaries considered. Some of them, they were already convicted. They got the death penalty by firing squad. How could they be swapped? Oh, you can say, well, they could do that. Probably the other guys were also in the same boat and, 1-for-1 would work. Okay. Let's say, is that a happy stuff? Happy moment? I don't think so. You, Russia, they consider you a terrorist state. They want to declare you a terrorist state. They consider your leaders and you, all of them by association, as terrorists. Your military. And you swap Nazis that you consider Nazis before and during the war or special operation, doesn't make really no virtuous sense. I don't know. I'm pretty much sure there's more than we are allowed to know regarding this issue, but I'm maneuvering with the information I have. And the information that I have is that these guys were considered Nazis. And they were spared and transferred over there. And after the war, they're going to come back. If you lose, if you win, doesn't matter. No stipulations. We're going to find out anyway. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.